We are back with some of the Fat Electrician. We have got America's Unhinged Nuclear Testing, Operation Plumbob.
Now, I feel like those of us in the Fat Electrician camp have been waiting for this.
Yo,
He's
really?
he's he's alluded to this before in one reaction that we did. I forgot which video it was, where he was like, the US fucked around with the nuclear bomb and sent a manhole cover into space. So he alluded to it, and now he got. I hopefully this is it, because I need this story like
Ye-
desperately.
Yeah, and I don't know too much about it, so how you're describing it, it's making me
Yeah,
very excited for it.
I
So,
am ready for this so bad.
yeah. Before we do, one little thing. We do have more Fat Electrician reactions coming. They're all jailbroken from Daniel's channel, Rec Nation. So
Yes.
it'll just be Daniel in those videos coming in the next 7-8 weeks of Fat Electrician vids. So
Yes.
just a heads up about that. Appreciate y'all's support of us doing this. And
Yes. And
yeah.
and if you guys do like the war kind of content, that's on Rec Nation.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where I have it all, or
Yeah,
getting
the
all
link
of it.
the link is down in the description to go check that out. He's got a big project coming up in
Yes.
terms of reactions with that, so you want to be over there to go check that out.
Hell yeah. All right,
For
man.
now, are we ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, I finally got around to doing that video on that time America launched a manhole cover in outer space with a nuclear bomb, and it turns out that's actually the lesser of two interesting parts of this story, because America also dropped a nuclear bomb on top of 6 people to prove that nukes were safe. Today we're talking about Operation Plumbob. The professional way to explain it would be to say that it is a bunch of nuclear testing that was carried out by the United States government in the late 1950s in the deserts of Nevada. However, in reality, it is more akin to the United States government dicking off with nuclear warheads in the desert like they're a bunch of rednecks on 4th of July with fireworks.
We'll shoot fireballs at it.
But first, a word from our sponsor.
I love this already.
It's just so us, right? I feel like it's so us. Like, we got nukes. Why can't we just play with them? Let's just play with them some. So we can't have nice
Oh,
things.
Nicholas.
Yeah, we can't have nice things. There's another funny ad here coming. I just know it. Whenever he gets his wife involved, it's gonna be funny.
Yeah. Is this my Father's Day present?
Well, I do have a surprise for you.
What's that?
Our credit cards are maxed out. I'm gonna need you to fix it. I'd like to go shopping.
Uh-oh.
This video is brought to you by Henson's Shaving. Okay, here's the deal. Henson's is a family...
I thought it was gonna be like Rocket Money or something, but no.
No, it's just him doing the ad to pay the bills, and I commend that.
Yes, happy wife, happy life. Am I right? Am I right, fellas?
Yep, preaching to the choir, man.
Yep.
Operation Plumbob takes place in 1957. There was a total of 29 nuclear explosions, and they were testing all kinds of different stuff. They had biomedical testing going on with pigs, seeing how radiation affected them and at what distance. Then they were covering the pigs with blankets, seeing what materials blocked the radiation, what materials didn't. They also conducted experiments on 18,000 US service members, basically having them dig a trench off in the distance and hide in it while they detonated a nuclear warhead to see how they held up. And then they had different buildings and structures built out of different materials, trying to see which building materials blocked radiation the best and which ones blocked them the worst. Now, when this started, all the bombs that were being detonated off the top of a tower or from a high altitude weather balloon. They were just detonating nuclear warheads into the open atmosphere. What could possibly go wrong, right?
Everything could go wrong. That's wild. They're testing everything on pigs, you know. I'm not gonna eat that bacon.
Hell no. Well, I mean, it's pretty much cooked, flash cooked.
Right. So maybe that's their version of fast food.
Jesus, dude. You know what's funny? It's like I watched what's that movie? Oppenheimer, right?
Yeah.
And when they what was it? In the movie, it was like, would it, like, the idea was if it exploded, no one kind of knew. It's like it's either gonna go really big boom or continuously burn up the atmosphere around the globe. And I'm like, holy shit, bro.
That's extreme.
Fuck yeah. Jesus.
Okay, then.
Right? And the important context here is that it's 1957. The world became aware of nuclear weapons 12 years prior at the end of World War II, and a couple years after that, the USSR had their own nuclear weapons. We are well off into the Cold War, and nuclear hysteria is at an all-time high. So by this point in time, the American general public doesn't just understand that nuclear weapons make a really big boom, they also, to some degree, also understand radiation and nuclear fallout. So everybody kind of understands what's going on at this point. I mean, they've even got cartoon turtles teaching kids what to do in case a nuclear bomb gets dropped near them. So naturally, whenever
Those always just creeped me out. Duck and cover.
Yeah,
like it's a Broadway musical or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't get it. I mean, I get it, but I didn't get it. Like I guess you had to do something, right? If a nuclear blast was imminent, right? Get under your desk and hide, or you know, I'm like, you're probably not okay.
You're probably done. You're probably just done by the time you have gotten underneath the desk.
Yeah, like I would just be out there trying to make the best looking funny shadow near a building at that point, because that's all that's left.
Go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, just make a funny shadow for the moment, and because that's all that's gonna be left of you is your shadow. Jesus.
Shit.
Near them. So naturally, when everybody finds out the government is strapping nukes to balloons and blowing them up in the desert, there's quite a bit of concern, you know, like, hey, maybe that's a bad idea. And then everybody finds out this is actually how the government's planning on protecting them from a nuclear strike from the Soviet Union, by taking one of our nukes and blowing up the Soviet nuke in the sky right above everybody's heads. Ladies and gentlemen, the Genie air-to-air missile. Okay, you gotta remember, this is the 1950s. There's no intercontinental ballistic missile that can reach from the Soviet Union into America yet. So this means that the only nuclear strike risk really comes from Soviet bombers flying into America and dropping their bombs. So we gotta be ready to shoot down these planes, right? Obviously. Problem, again, it's the 1950s. There's no sophisticated anti-air systems yet, okay? There's not really any air-to-air missiles that our fighter jets can shoot accurately. So, the going theory was that we're going to use this nuclear fucking missile and shoot it at an entire formation of Soviet planes and blow all of them up at once.
Genius!
Okay, and on a rudimentary level, this makes complete sense, right? If you can't be accurate, you increase the margin of error. If you're not good with shooting a pistol, maybe grab a shotgun, it's easier to hit your target. However, what they've went and done with the Genie missile might be a little bit of overkill, because what they've essentially said is, well, I'm not very accurate with air-to-air missiles for shooting down planes, so instead, I've opted to create a spawn point for the fucking sun. So naturally, now everybody's absolutely terrified.
A spawn for the sun.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh dude.
Just these one-liners just come out of nowhere.
Just a spawn point for the sun.
Oh god.
I mean, just like, why couldn't we just make a really big bomb? Like, well, why not the biggest? Fair point, Jim. Fair point. Let's use the biggest, because radiation. We'll figure that out later.
Yeah, that's a problem for later.
Yeah. Jesus.
Spawn point for the fucking sun. So naturally, now everybody's absolutely terrified, and the government's like, guys, calm down. It's gonna be completely fine. There's no, you know what? I'll just prove it to you. Give me 5 volunteers and a camera guy, but don't tell him what he's doing. On July 19th, 1957, the United States government detonated a Genie air-to-air nuclear missile with a 1.5 kiloton warhead directly above the heads of 5 U.S. service members that volunteered to be there, and a camera guy that was not informed of what he was doing until a couple hours beforehand.
I'm out. What? You cannot pull out of this. I'm pulling out. We're way too deep to pull out. I'm pulling out. No, we are not. You're leaving it in. I've been pulling out for years, son.
And in your head, you're probably picturing like 5 dudes in hazmat suits with a welding mask on. No, it's literally 5 bros in their military uniforms standing in the middle of the desert with no glasses, making direct eye contact with a nuclear explosion, while one of them is holding a sign that says Ground Zero, Population 5, because that shit's funny.
We felt a heat pulse, a very bright light, a fireball. It is red. The sky looks black about it. It is boiling above us there. It is rapid. Movement color. There is the ground wave. It is over, folks. It is tremendous. Directly above our heads. It went.
Okay, now let's
Okay.
Yo,
Okay.
bravest guinea pigs award go to them.
Yeah.
In the military, I feel like you're voluntold to do things. Like, oh, it's voluntary.
Is it?
Is it?
You sure about that?
Bro, to stand underneath like an atomic bomb. Didn't they detonate the atomic bomb above the ground so it'd be more effective? Like
think
they
so.
detonated above the I guess the targets over there in Japan, and the explosion sent that shit just went and out, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
they're above. Like, bro, what happened? You guys get Monday off.
It better get Monday off. I would ask for more than Monday
Christ.
off. I know I can't ask for it, but man,
Good God.
and I want to know how their eyesight was afterwards, because having 2 eclipses in the past couple of years, some people have lost that eyesight.
Yeah. Did any of them have children afterwards? And what were their children? You know what I mean? Like, because holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's directly above our heads. It went.
Okay, now let's just take a minute and appreciate the fact that you've probably just witnessed the most testicular fortitude ever captured on camera. Secondly, let's also admire the fact that the sign that says Ground Zero Population 5 is not only funny at face value, but it's hilarious that they only counted the 5 of them in the camera and not the cameraman himself, because even back in 1957, they knew that the cameraman never dies.
I'm actually like Frodo Baggins.
And out of respect for them being, to the best of my knowledge, the only 6 people that have ever volunteered to have a nuclear warhead dropped directly above their foreheads, I'm going to go ahead and read their names off. The cameraman's name is George Yoshitake, and the 5 service members are as follows: Colonel Sidney Bruce, Lieutenant Colonel Frank Ball, Major John Hughes, Major Norman Bodinger, and Don Luttrell. Apparently the cameraman, Mr. Yoshitake, had filmed a bunch of other nuclear tests in the past, and he thought that this was going to be no different than all the other ones, where he's miles and miles away just filming a mushroom cloud, and he didn't know that they were going to be dropping the bomb directly above him until like a couple hours beforehand, and he was already there. After arriving to the test site, he was briefed on what was going to go down, and according to him, he was pretty much completely unfazed. He did not care at all, and he was 100% game to partake in this experiment, which I think we can all agree is gangster as fuck.
This is what I...
Wow, the fact that it just didn't faze him.
Just another fucking day.
Yeah, that's a Monday for him.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah. I appreciate all the references to the interview here.
Oh, great. Fucking hilarious movie, dude.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
What's absolutely nuts is that all of those volunteers were all officers. So, which is wild. Usually the guinea pigs are the grunts. So that's pretty shocking. That's a lot of confidence right there.
Yeah. What is it that Nick said? Testicular fortitude.
Yes.
They had a lot of that.
100%, dude. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
What did you picture?
I walk in there like a fucking gangster.
And then he goes on to live a normal life until he passed away in 2013 at the age of 84. And the other 5 service members that were also involved in this experiment all lived full, happy lives. As far as I could tell, the youngest any of them passed away was 71, and the rest of them all lived into their 70s. And while it's great that they were all okay, the PR stunt itself wasn't really that effective because the general public wasn't swayed very much by it. They still wanted them to stop blowing up nuclear bombs all the time. So finally, the US government's like, fine, we'll stop blowing up so many bombs in the desert. And the American people are like, and above the desert in the atmosphere. Okay, fine. And above the desert in the atmosphere. And in the ocean. Fine, we won't detonate nuclear bombs in the ocean either. And that is the story of how nuclear testing finally came to an end. No, I'm just kidding. The government then decided to opt for the loophole, and they were gonna bore a 500-foot deep hole in the middle of the desert so that they could blow up a nuke underground, because nobody would be mad, because people were only mad about on the surface, in the atmosphere, and in the ocean. Surely, blowing one up underground wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? I mean, what could go wrong?
Delete me!
What are you doing? I already did the ad.
Delete me is gonna do every episode from now on.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, how much are they paying?
Don't worry about it.
Anyways, you guys.
Goals. Goals right here.
Yeah, that's goals right there. Underground.
What?
Like, come on.
I couldn't. Why is that better? You know, you heard the whole firecracker thing, right? It's like you hold a firecracker like this, it blows up, you'll get burned. You hold it in your hand and then close your fist, you have no hand.
Yeah.
So like, what? What are they doing? These are the whatever. I could go off on tangents, bro.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not an overly smart guy or an explosions expert or anything, but I mean, off the top of my head, I've got some concerns. Primarily, I've seen the cinematic masterpiece Armageddon, where Bruce Willis convinced me that a bunch of dudes that work on an oil rig are easier to train to be astronauts than teaching astronauts how to drill a fucking hole. I mean, that was the entire premise of the movie. Drill a hole, stick a nuke down it, blow the planet you're on in half. I understand 500 feet probably isn't deep enough for that to be realistic, but still, nothing good can come of this. You're gonna, like, piss off King Kong or unleash that Balrog thing that killed Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. Something bad is going to happen. Now, luckily, they're not planning on detonating a nuclear warhead in this hole. They're just planning on blowing one up. And what I mean by that is the premise of this experiment was basically, remember, we're worried about the USSR bringing bombers, planes, and dropping a nuclear bomb on America. And we're planning on shooting those USSR bombers down. Essentially, we're going to blow up those planes that have a nuclear weapon on board. They want to know what happens when you blow up a nuclear weapon with a conventional type bomb or missile, right? So they're going to stick a nuclear warhead in the hole with another bomb, and they're going to blow up the conventional bomb and see if that blows up the nuclear bomb as well, because we need to know that. And the going theory is that the nuke is not going to explode because nuclear bombs have to be set off in a very particular way, and if they don't get set off in that exact way, there's safety measures that are actually supposed to kill the nuke rather than set it off. But that's all theoretical, and there's only one real way to actually test it, right? You're going to back up, grab a camera, yell "World Star," and see what happens. So that's exactly what.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Like the what ifs of this whole like nuclear process, right? The beginning fledgling states of this are insane.
Yeah.
Like, bro, it's not a regular bomb at all. What are we doing? Like you said, like better. Wake up the Balrog or fucking unleash the Godzilla. Like you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Oh man,
they're just taking a shot in the dark.
Dude's
literally.
Just living in the moment, not a cell phone in sight, but a camera, but still.
Just dudes being guys.
Dudes being guys.
Mm-hmm.
Christ.
Yeah.
Actually test it, right? You're going to back up, grab a camera, yell "World Star," and see what happens. So that's exactly what they do. July 26, 1957, they have the first underground nuclear test ever, known as Pascal A. Takes them all day to set it up. They got to lower the device down this hole, they get everything ready. Then, on top of the hole, you know, in case the nuclear bomb does go off, they lower a 5-foot thick slab of concrete that weighs thousands and thousands of pounds. And then on top of the hole, they have some kind of lid. I'm not sure what material it was. They didn't say, but sitting on top of the lid, there was a bunch of sensing equipment, because remember, they're not expecting a big explosion. They're expecting a really small explosion, and they want to get as much data from it as possible. So they have like sensors and cameras aiming down the hole through this lid. And I will now let the head scientist in charge, Bob Brownlee, take the story from here. And I quote, "They finally got it down the hole, by my recollection, about 10 o'clock at night or so. There wasn't much time to go back to Mercury, go to bed, get up the next morning and shoot it. So somebody said, why don't we just shoot it now and then go in? And it was the world's finest Roman candle, because at night it was all visible. Blue fire shot hundreds of feet into the air. Everybody was down in the area, and then they all jumped up, jumped in their cars, and drove like crazy, not even counting who was there and who came out of the area." So the safety equipment didn't work.
So that's a more extreme version of eating Taco Bell, blowing up your buddy's bathroom, and then running out and getting in your car before anything major happens.
That I love that they had an oh shit moment at like 11 o'clock at night. Like,
Yeah.
holy hell, working all day. Like, all right, fine. Everyone's probably boosting them up, full or surrounded by yes men. You know, like, oh, yeah, it's not gonna. You know, that's just like let it pop, whatever. And then everyone's running for fucking cover. Holy shit, that's nightmare stuff right there, dude.
Yeah, that's some I shit you not moment right there. Whew.
Counting who was there and who came out of the area. So the safety equipment didn't work. The nuclear part went off, generating an explosion about 50,000 times bigger than they were anticipating. Apparently, the explosion was so large that seismic equipment from all over the world could sense this explosion. You know, seismic equipment being the shit they use to detect earthquakes. Another scientist that was present described it as, and I quote, "the biggest damn Roman candle you ever saw. It was beautiful. Big blue glow in the sky." And because of this, the United States government comes to the realization, okay, maybe underground nuclear testing isn't that great of it. I'm just fucking with you guys. They redid the exact same experiment like a month later, August 27th, 1957. And they didn't really change a whole lot about the experiment. They took the device, they stuck it down the hole, they put thousands of pounds of concrete directly on top of it, and then the only thing they did change was instead of whatever lid they were using before that they could like put sensors through and shit, they went and tried to control the explosion by getting a 2,000-pound manhole cover, and then they welded it shut over the top of the hole.
Oh God, I see where this is going. Oh, hell no, ain't no way. There just ain't no way. Ugh.
Jesus.
1,000-pound manhole cover, and then they welded it shut over the top of the hole. They then took the best high-speed camera they could find and aimed it at the manhole cover, because if the safety device failed again, whatever happens to the manhole cover was, and I quote, scientifically interesting, aka they're just doing Mythbusters shit with DOD money. So they detonate the bomb, the safety device fails, the nuclear portion goes off, and in hindsight, what happened is when you have a nuclear bomb go off with thousands of pounds of concrete directly on top of it, that concrete is instantly vaporized and turned into gas, and then that gas is pretty also instantly superheated, and superheated gas expands a lot, and this is an enclosed environment because they welded the manhole cover shut. If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, the scientists just inadvertently turned the planet into a fucking potato gun and launched this 2,000-pound manhole cover, presumably into outer space. So all the scientists, being pros, start asking the question that everybody wants the answer to. How fast do you think that manhole cover was going? So they go to the high-speed camera. Okay, this camera is taking 1 frame per 1,000th of a second. Okay, it's a lot of fucking pictures. The manhole cover appears in one singular frame, and that is it. So because it was only captured by a single frame and not multiple frames, they can't calculate how far it was traveling over a period of time, so all they can calculate is the minimum speed that it would have to be going to only be captured by a single frame in the span of the camera shot, and the calculation they came up with was that manhole cover was moving at least 150,000 miles an hour. That is Mach 195. It is 195 times faster than the speed of sound. And
Oh my God, 150,000 miles per hour.
Bro.
What's it? Mach 190 something is what he said.
Wow.
Wow.
I would be I wonder what planet it landed on, because what is it? What would he say? We superheated it. Just like out of the solar system. We're like, well, this shit's gonna go where no manhole has ever gone before. Fast. Like
where no manhole has gone before.
It's like frisbee golf. Like we sent one up there flying, and once it hit space, you know that shit didn't slow down.
Damn.
It kept going, and but it's going to this day. Jeez.
Yeah, it hasn't stopped. It's beyond Pluto right now, and that's not even a planet. When it launched, like by the time it got there, it wasn't a planet anymore.
Yep. Oh my God.
And the best part about all this is that this happened prior to Sputnik 1, meaning that if this manhole cover made it into outer space, it was the first man-made object to ever make it into outer space. It didn't make it into outer space. It would have burnt up in the atmosphere just like meteorites do. Oh shit, you're right. I completely forgot that every single meteorite that's ever come into the Earth's atmosphere is burnt up completely and never actually makes it to the ground. I'll be right back. I've got to go tell all the dinosaurs to stand up and quit being babies, because clearly they're exaggerating.
So we won the space race after all.
And we did it by accident. Go suck on them apples.
Suck it, Soviets.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh, man.
Guys, they're dead. This is completely different.
Oh, are they? Are
Oh,
they?
man.
I didn't know.
Guys, they're dead. This is completely different from a meteorite for multiple reasons. For one, a meteorite's never been made out of 2,000 pounds of refined steel. For two, a meteorite's moving at about 30,000 miles an hour when it collides with the Earth's atmosphere. This thing's moving at 150,000 miles an hour, and space is only 62 miles up, okay? This thing made it to outer space in a second. Even friction was like, what the fuck was that? Thirdly, the collision with the atmosphere is nothing like a meteorite, right? A meteorite is a rock traveling through the vacuum of outer space with no other forces acting upon it, and it collides with Earth's atmosphere, and then it gets slowed down and it gets burnt up, okay? The manhole cover isn't just moving at 150,000 miles an hour through the atmosphere. It is being propelled by a channeled nuclear explosion with all of the gases, aka the atmosphere behind it, also moving 150,000 miles an hour in the same direction.
Yes, science!
Okay, and just to be clear, I'm not saying that I'm correct. I'm simply saying I'm incredibly ill-equipped to answer this question accurately, and no offense, but there's about a 99.999% chance that you are too. So my verdict in regards to this manhole cover is going to be that it's still up in the air. There's a horrible dad joke. I'm sorry. Moving on. Now, fast forward.
I bet you someone is gonna come out. Hold on.
Did you know?
Listen. Hold on. But did you know that it's actually on the planet?
I I need to get myself a keyboard. Because I do have the proper headwear.
Oh, wait a minute.
I do have the headwear.
Oh, you have the headwear. You better bring that down this weekend.
Yeah.
Nuclear testing continued both underground, above ground, and in the atmosphere. I'm sorry, moving on. Now, fast forward, nuclear testing continued both underground, above ground, and in the atmosphere until 1963, when they signed a treaty with the Soviet Union and Great Britain that the only nuclear testing allowed was going to be underground. Now, fast forward again a couple of decades, and people's concerns over atmospheric nuclear bomb detonations turned out to be 100% legitimate because a ton of people ended up having elevated risks of cancer. Both the 18,000 soldiers that were present at Operation Plumbob had highly elevated likelihoods of developing leukemia and thyroid cancer, as well as thousands of civilians that were living in towns near the test sites. And I know what you're thinking, how come those people got cancer, but the guys that literally stood underneath a nuclear bomb as it was detonated didn't? Well, the way that nuclear radiation works is that it dissipates pretty quickly over like 2 to 3 days, and then it's completely gone. Which is why, like, all the old videos and protocols telling you what to do in case of a nuclear attack always told you, you know, duck and cover from the initial blast wave and then make your way inside and stay inside for like a week. After that, the radiation is decayed enough that it shouldn't hurt you. So the guys that were exposed to that bomb directly overhead were exposed to it for presumably 10, 15 minutes before they dipped and left, whereas a lot of these soldiers were exposed to repeated nuclear explosions over and over again, or these towns, the explosions would go up into the atmosphere and the radiation would be caught in the wind, and it would just carpet these towns with radiation for days over and over and over again over the course of years, hundreds of nuclear detonations exposing these people to radiation. Now, fast forward like 3 decades to 1990, the United States government, with its infinite charity and outstanding moral compass, finally decides that they're going to pass the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, where they're going to pay these people that were wrongfully exposed to radiation due to their negligence. If you got cancer and you could prove that it was because of them, they would go ahead and they would give you $75,000 in one lump sum if you were a soldier on the ground, or if you were an innocent civilian just living your life in a town miles and miles away, they would give you $50,000. There's no other legal course that you could take. You can't sue them for more. You can't reject it. Just, here's what I'm going to give you. Fuck off.
Wow, that sounds like a really good deal. How about I give you the finger?
Okay, just so we're on the same page.
Man,
Well,
I don't know.
1990? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
That's what,
I mean,
100,000?
Yeah,
Probably.
at least with inflation. Yeah, I'd take that money. I mean, come on.
With this, the United States government takes your tax money, whether you want them to or not. You don't get an option. They're taking your money, okay? They then turned that money into radiation that they used to poison Americans with and give them cancer. Then, 30 years after the fact, they decided, you know what? We should make things right by giving the people that survived this long and can actually prove it was our fault, we'll give them like 50 grand. Bear in mind that 50 grand is also money that was tax money that they took. So they took your money, used it to poison you, and then to pay you off, they gave you some of your money back.
I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Pretty much.
You understand how absolutely crazy that is? Imagine somebody walked up to somebody on the street and was like, hey, give me all the money in your wallet or I'm going to throw you in a cage for years against your will. And you're like, okay, and you give them all the money in your wallet. They turn around, they go buy brass knuckles, come back, and then punch you in the face with the brass knuckles that they just bought with your money. And then they look down at you and they're like, oh, I really hurt you, my bad. And then they get into your pocket, find another $20 bill, pull that $20 bill out of your pocket, and then hand it back to you to pay you off for punching you in the face.
It's never too early to learn that the government is a greedy piglet that suckles on a taxpayer's teat until they have sore, chapped nipples.
I gotta end this video. I feel radicalized. In conclusion, this has been the story of 6 crazy bastards that volunteered to have a nuclear bomb detonated directly above their head, and that time that America may have accidentally launched a manhole cover into outer space, potentially becoming the first man-made object ever, and that time that the US government poisoned tens of thousands of people with radiation, giving them cancer, and basically had no consequences for it whatsoever. Thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
At the end here.
Government giving people cancer with 0 consequences while trying to tell me I can't drink raw milk. I don't even want to drink raw milk. I'm just mad they think they can tell me I can't.
Ain't that the truth?
Right? Oh,
I want my raw milk.
Oh my god.
Man, it's like if anybody else had told me the story with the ending that it has, I'd be pissed off.
Yeah.
I mean, I still am, but having Nick say it makes it a bit more easier to digest.
His delivery is just untouchable. Like he is the top history teller in my book.
Oh
you
yeah.
know? Like he's among the greats of this space for sure.
Oh yeah. He's top of the class. That's for damn sure.
Yep. Man.
Well, y'all keep some Fat Electrician reaction suggestions coming. Like I said earlier, we're jailbreaking a lot of stuff that was originally on Wreck Nation in the coming weeks. It'll just be Daniel in them. Yep. And also go to check out Wreck Nation. He's got big military projects coming up with that in a good way.
Yes, we do.
Yes. In the meantime, thank you for watching this one. Consider subscribing to us, watching another video. Thank you to channel members for your continued support. And what now, Dan?
Unplug and do something legendary, guys.
And we'll see y'all next time.
Later.